You know, when it kind of comes to ethical standards, it's certainly something that, again, that we was talking about earlier on, and you just mentioned again that, you know, a happy reared animal produces a great tasting product, and in its first instance, people's involvement in regards to the pigs is of the utmost importance. And we're obviously sitting here talking, and the pigs are really kind of interactive. I think that's just credit to the farming credentials of what happens here at Dingley Dell anyway, by you know, not being worried or scared about human interaction, and you know, that they're kind of reared in an ethical way that naturally supports that interaction to ensure that they're looked after, because it's, you know, that's what's important.
Well, if we're going to eat meat, that it's a given that that animal should have the best life possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're free of stress and able to exhibit natural behaviour, and just to have the respect of you know, not only you know, us guys looking after them, but you know, the respect of those that are eating.
We've obviously had a long-standing relationship with Dingley Dell Farm, and typically, like, the word of like sustainability and really what that means to us in Youngs. And I think in this first instance, it's, you know, buying British, buying as locally as you possibly can. I mean, buying produce that's ethically reared and naturally grown, as well as obviously buying products that taste fantastic. Not on my shoes, mate, come on. And I mean, but really, what does that mean for guests, and how is it they can recognise that we buy a great product in terms of the ethical standards? And Dingley Dell Farm is obviously rearing pigs and pork to standards that are above and beyond RSPCA assured. But that's kind of one of the stamps that you have as like the kind of approval of the ethical standards of rearing pork.
Yeah, I think from a consumer point of view, it should be massively reassuring that Youngs have bought into the whole RSPCA scheme, and that's the benchmark for what you're buying. You know, as a farmer, you know, we're producing animals 52 weeks of the year, so it's critical for us to have outlets for our meat, so it's critical for us to have relationships with businesses. So it's just a privilege to be part of the Youngs supply chain, to be featured on the menu, and also I'd like to think it was great from your point of view, because you know, this is it. It's one farm. You know, everything can be traced back to one farm,
and you can kind of see how they're, you know, well looked after, and I think that's obviously the most important thing. We're back at the farmhouse now, and just before we head off down to London, I thought I'd leave Mark with a little treat, an early supper, just before he heads off home for the rest of the day. And I'm sure it'll be absolutely delicious.
Lovely, thank you.
You are more than welcome.
That's bloody fantastic, Chris.
Yeah,
that is spot on.
Thank you for taking the time to show us around today. I mean, these relationships are obviously important to both of us, you know, as a customer and obviously as a farmer. You know, it's obviously absolutely incredible to kind of see the standards, the welfare standards, and what kind of goes into not just rearing a pig, but everything that you're doing for the land, biodiversity, and increasing the kind of species within the farmland, and ultimately like the respect that's kind of given to the pigs, which ultimately produce the most amazing pork, of course. But you know, obviously relationship has been going back 10, 11 years, I would say, by a memory prompted on your office wall. There's quite a touch of nostalgia to see myself 10 or 11 years ago when we kind of first started working in partnership together. And yeah, just wanted to say thank you, and thank you for everything that you do for us, and hope to see you again soon.
Absolute pleasure. And can I just say a big thank you to everybody that visits Youngs and buys our pork. We really appreciate the way you're supporting us.